What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Creativ Rise podcast. So glad you are here today. Today's going to be a celebration-based episode, a little bit of an update episode, and we're then going to cover a topic that we think is pretty important and that you need to know about. A lot of people in the mastermind are asking about it right now.
Good quick tip.
Yeah, good quick tip. So this is week one. We are like 2 days into week one of or a couple days in, by the time you're listening to this podcast, a couple days into week one of the Creativ Rise 6-week mastermind, which is awesome. This is round 12.
Round 12. And I have to say, we had more applications than ever before. We had over 100 people apply for these spots, these small select amount of spots of this intimate group that goes through the next 6 weeks. Just basically doing all things business foundation, like all creative service-based entrepreneurs that are like, hey, let's freaking dive into this. Let's build businesses. Let's support each other in a community. And Joy get to lead it. And it's absolutely so much fun.
So we're in the midst of week one right now, where we're helping people really dial in what their 6-figure business foundation is going to look like. What's your income goals? What are the offers you're using to get there? Blah, 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 right? On and on and on about all that stuff. Really technical, fun stuff. And it's just like pouring gas on a fire right now. We've got 31 businesses. As Christy said, we had over 100 applications. We actually approved 31 people to join us for the next 6 weeks, which is awesome. And it is such a great group. It's been so fun. So we're just going to quickly celebrate everybody that's in. And then we're going to cover something that we think is important that they've been talking about in the chat. And I think it's super important for you to hear about it.
All right.
It's a big question.
So shout out to our round 12 mastermind people. We've got Madison from Wisconsin. We've got Mackenzie from BC. We've got Peyton from Florida. We've got April from Oregon. We got Kai and Sean from Tasmania, Australia. We've got Morgan Parker from Florida. We've got Angelina Gritzin from California. We've got Zach from Maine. We've got Liz from Vermont. We've got Hunter from Ontario, Canada. We've got Hunter and Michaela Phillips from San Francisco. We've got Claire from California. We've got Alicia from Texas, Madison from California, Kieran from Cornwall, UK. He stays literally in the middle of the night for our calls, which is amazing. We've got John Williams from Montana. We've got Emma from Ontario. We've got Caro from Victoria, Australia. We've got John from BC. We've got Emma from Quebec. We've got Ross from Colorado, Kelsey from Pennsylvania, Dylan from Montana. We've got so many people from Montana this round. It's awesome. We've got Tanya from Australia. We've got Peace from BC. We've got Brigitte from Vancouver. We've got Lindsay from Florida, Alyssa from California, Charlotte from Montana, and Shayla from Vancouver. We've got Britta from Illinois, and those are our 31 businesses. Couple more people with the teams.
Such a great group. Literally pins all over the globe. We got people in Europe. We got people down in the South Pacific. We got people in the US, people in Canada. It's awesome. It's been so fun. So a couple quick wins from this week, because we've had a whole lot of awesome wins come through, which has been really cool.
And that's one of the coolest parts of the mastermind, is just seeing these, like, even just quick wins within the first week of people being like, hey, I nailed this sales call. Hey, I'm doing this right now. Hey, this client came back to me. It's awesome. Joe's going to shout out a few of those.
Yeah, so shout out, first things first. This is not all the wins. We're shouting out a few that I've got screenshots of right here. But shout out to Madison. She, in her first week, has already had like so many conversations with people. She's building a social media management business. And she's like, hey, quick ring the bell. Just met a guy who wants me to help his wife with his TikTok. Ended up walking out with about $850 per month just to get started. And she's super excited because she is just stacking a couple of these gigs and these retainers right now, which is so cool. And she is in the transition of, like probably a lot of you guys listening to this podcast, looking to exit her 9-to-5 and build a really solid creative business foundation so she can jump that bridge. So shout out to Madison. You're killing it. You got a lot going on. This is really cool. Kieran from the UK says, not the usual work at all, but 1,500 pounds locked in to shoot an old piece for his college. That's really cool. We love quick wins week one.
Yes.
It's not letting me scroll through. We got a bunch more here. This is super cool. Peyton got reached out from YSL. She put in there, she's like, hey, quick, small. She goes, small win related to my UGC content. YSL Beauty reached out to me asking if I could collaborate with them on some UGC.
Which is a huge
deal.
It's a big deal.
Yes, huge deal. Madison signed a really cool associate wedding, and she says it's a win not only just because of the payment, but we're proud of her, and she's proud of herself from reading this on how she offered her associates when the couple couldn't actually afford her normal top packages to have her there. So
and the associate is still $5 grand plus.
Yeah, which is really, really cool. Yeah. Morgan booked a super last minute elopement yesterday as she was flying home from Europe, which was awesome.
Amazing.
In the air, nothing like booking a gig when you're in the air. Yes. Alyssa booked an adventure and an adventure engagement session, which is super fun. She's super excited about that. $850. This is awesome. $2,750.
Angelina booked
a
wedding for $2,750 because she's breaking into the wedding space, and it was incredible. She so wanted this deal, and she hopped on the call. And
she was like hunting this one down, so she's super proud of that. This is a really cool one. We'll wrap up with this. We won't keep going through the rest of these, but Ross, this is awesome. He says small win. This is a huge win. It's not a small win. Ross says, wrapped up a 4-month retainer last month, and tonight when they sent me their selects for last month's photos, they said they wanted to keep working with me. And there are 21 people commenting the fire emoji on that because that is amazing. It is the greatest feeling in the world to do really good work, or as you would assume good work out on a retainer, and then get the feedback from the client. They want to continue working with you, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Anyways, we're off to an awesome start. It's only been a couple days. We're so jacked up on what people are doing right now inside of the 6-week Creativ Rise Mastermind, the confidence they're building. The group chat is just, our community platform group chat is just firing right now.
Yeah.
People, I saw John from Whistler, Vancouver area. He was like, hey, like this group chat could be a course in itself with all the value that's going down in the group chat.
So cool.
Which is awesome. But one of the things that was said in the group chat, you thought it'd be good to talk about.
Yeah, it was a good question. And I was like, I don't think we've ever talked about this specific question on the podcast before. And I thought it was such a great question and something to be really aware of, especially if you're doing retainer style models or retainer models in your business for people working in the brand space. But someone had the opportunity to work with somebody, a brand or a personal brand, to create content for them every single month, to create content, help manage things, all of that. And gave the packages. And then the client was like, hey, actually, none of those packages work for me because the work is really going to fluctuate month to month. So like some months I'm really going to need you. And then some months not barely at all.
But she's like, I want your loyalty. Like, yes, I want you to be ready for me.
But I want you to be ready for it, but I don't want to pick one of your packages because I might not need all of the deliverables every single month, which 100% makes sense.
Yeah.
But the person in our mastermind asking was like, what do I do with something like that? And do I just kind of like sign on and just, if 1 month we don't make any money, it's like, whatever. I'm like, no, you don't want to do that because you only have so many slots to be able to take on a retainer, right? You only have so many slots to be able to take on clients for the month and to be committed to them. And what that client is essentially saying is they want your commitment, but they're not willing to give you their commitment.
Yeah.
So what
their
you want to do,
commitment would be money. Your commitment is loyalty and time.
Loyalty and time and availability. So what I told this person was, hey, you need to have a minimum level of engagement. So in order for somebody to engage your services with you every single month, to be able to, retain you for that month, there needs to be a minimum level of engagement. It's not just like, hey, there's no work this month, $0, because then you didn't fill that spot with somebody else. So
you're chunking out time on your calendar that could have been used with a paying client, right?
Exactly. So there needs to be a minimum level of services offered and a minimum price point per month for you to be available to do work for them, right? So, hey, whether it includes like, hey, that's like, let's say it's social media management. It's like, hey, that's, 2 posts a week or maybe the minimum of that. And then that's going to be X price point, right? And then you can build off of that. If they need more, they need it to fluctuate, that's totally fine. But it should always fluctuate up, not down from your minimum. So make sure you have a minimum level of engagement when you are working with clients.
So an example would be, let's say your normal package for creating content, showing up and creating content for a personal brand. It's like UGC style. Let's say your normal package is like $12.50 a month for like, let's call it, 10 images, 5 reels, okay? Something like that. And you're looking to scale those numbers as, this relationship builds. But let's say 1 month they need all of that content, but the next month they only need 3 reels. Well, you need to figure out what their minimum order quantity needs to be, as Christy said. Like, what's the least amount of work that they are going to need from you? And then what do you put a price on that? And then what are you also putting a price on when it comes to your loyalty and your availability? Your willingness to, at the drop of a hat, when they call you and say, hey, we need content for next week, can you shoot? What is that worth, right?
Yeah.
So you need to create a minimum level of engagement with, which is what Christy said. It's not just, what's the minimum amount of content they need? It's also, what is my loyalty worth? What is my space on my calendar worth to have them, going? So that might look like a full month is $1,250 or $1,500 or something. And your lowest month, if they do no work, if there's basically nothing happening that month, they're still keeping you on retainer at, call it $400 a month or something, just to keep you in their ecosystem, or really just to keep them in your ecosystem. That way, if something does come up, you're going to respond to them quickly. So you're giving them your loyalty and quote unquote calendar space for like a minimum of like, call it $400 a month, even if you're not going to do anything. So that's kind of what we had instructed her to say is, hey, create a minimum level of engagement. And well, number one, you should push your clients to do what's best for their business. So if they're like, well, we only want content this month and no content next month, it's like, why would you not want content next month? You probably need content next month. So first thing you do is you encourage your clients to get a little bit more stability in their content output, more stability there. But if they still want to have high months of content and low months of content, you got to create that minimum level of engagement and engage them that way.
And ultimately, if someone is not going to be the right fit for you, you can say no. That's also something that we say. It's like, hey, if this is going to be just overly complicated, you're going to be saving a spot for them and they're going to be really like nickel and diming you on the low months. Maybe they're just not the right client for you. And it's the right, maybe a recurring retainer model is not the right solution for them. So also having the ability to be able to say no.
Yeah, just sell them on a one-off and maybe give that retainer spot to someone who's going to be more committed financially on their end and who's also going to benefit from what you do more, right? Which is important. So anyways, guys, that was the quick response we had to that question in the mastermind chat. We haven't even had our first group call yet. That's actually like a workshop group call. We had our first intro call on Sunday. Our first group call is coming up on Thursday. We are so jacked up. It's going to be great.
We are so
It's going to be so fun. Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're in the mastermind, we're so proud of you guys. If you're a grad of the mastermind, we miss you guys. Wish you were in this one as well.
Yeah. And if you're someone who's like, I want to be in one of those in the future, you can join the wait list. Right now, it's in the show notes, creativrise.com. Join a wait list. And our next one is coming in the spring.
It's going to be spring next year. Yeah. So anyways, guys, thanks for being here. Hope you had an awesome week. Yeah, I was going to say, let us know what a great episode's been. If you're listening to this and you are a fan of the show, or maybe you're a longtime listener, maybe you're a newer listener, but you've really enjoyed an episode, hit us up on Instagram. Shoot us what it is. We'd love to know. It's great feedback for us to continue making stuff that's relevant to you guys growing your businesses. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.